The studio lights burned bright that night, bouncing off polished desks and gleaming foreheads, but no glow matched the fire brewing between two men destined to clash. On one side of the stage stood Gavin Newsom, the suave silver-tongued governor of California, a master of soundbites with eyes that seemed to dance with defiance. On the other was Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana, gravel-voiced, slow-speaking, but razor-sharp, a man whose southern drawl often lulled people into underestimating him. Many had made that mistake before. Tonight, Newsom would too, and he'd only need 9 seconds to realize it. It all started with a challenge that seemed almost theatrical. A national television debate, unmoderated, raw, no commercial breaks. Newsom, buoyed by rising popularity among coastal progressives, had become increasingly vocal in interviews and talk shows, framing red state policies as backward, destructive, and more than once, morally bankrupt. When the opportunity arose to face Kennedy, one of the right's most sardonic defenders, he saw it as a chance to cement his dominance and deliver a knockout performance. But Kennedy wasn't the kind of man to throw haymakers. He used scalpels. As the cameras rolled, the tension was palpable. The debate began politely, enough talk of crime rates, housing policies, and immigration, each man holding his ground. Newsom dazzled with stats and anecdotes, the practiced polish of a seasoned executive, but Kennedy bided his time, smiling thinly, his pen tapping against the table, as though marking every exaggerated claim, every glossed-over contradiction. And then it happened. The moderator shifted the conversation to education. Newsom, voice rising with conviction, launched into an impassioned defense of California's progressive curriculum changes. He spoke of inclusivity, evolving societal standards, and the moral imperative of shaping young minds to face a diverse world. Then, with a smirk that teetered on arrogance, he turned to Kennedy and said, "Senator, maybe if Louisiana schools followed our lead, your literacy rates wouldn't be where they are." The room went still. Kennedy didn't flinch, didn't blink. He looked at Newsom with that inscrutable, tired expression, like a grandfather watching a child throw a tantrum, and leaned slightly forward. "Governor," he began, voice slow as molasses but cutting like a scalpel, "the difference between me and you is I don't have to pretend to care about poor kids to get applause. I actually do something about it." 9 seconds. That's all it took. Silence. The kind that crushes air from lungs. Newsom's smirk faltered. His fingers twitched. In that moment, the polish cracked. Kennedy didn't stop there. "You talk about literacy rates like you've walked through the schools in Baton Rouge or Monroe. You haven't. You never called the teachers there. You never sat with parents scared their kids won't make it out of poverty. You've got high-risers and lobbyists. We've got grit. You push programs. We push people to rise." The words didn't shout. They landed. Heavy. Real. Viewers across the country leaned in. What came next wasn't a war of policies, it was a revelation of character. Newsom tried to recover, to redirect the debate back to safe numbers, safe talking points. But Kennedy had shifted the tone. He spoke of a single mother in Shreveport working 2 jobs while homeschooling her child because her public school had been defunded. He spoke of a janitor who tutored kids on weekends because there weren't enough teachers. He didn't spin it, he just told it. And with every story, his authenticity began to unravel the sheen of his opponent. It wasn't about red versus blue anymore. It was about real versus rehearsed. For all his polish, Newsom started to stumble. He grew defensive. There was a moment when he snapped back. It's easy to throw stories when you don't deal with policy complexity, but the words rang hollow, like a politician hiding behind bureaucracy. Kennedy looked at him, quiet again, and said, "Policy means nothing if the people don't feel seen." It hit like a punch. Behind the scenes, producers whispered to each other. In watch parties across America, people nodded, not because Kennedy had won a debate, but because, for a moment, someone on that stage reminded them what politics could be. Human. By the end, there were no grand declarations, no triumphant jabs, just 2 men, one humbled, the other unshaken. Newsom left the stage visibly rattled, not because he'd been insulted, but because he'd been exposed. What made those 9 seconds unforgettable wasn't just Kennedy's words, it was what they revealed. That underneath all the rhetoric, America isn't moved by statistics or slogans. It's moved by truth, by lived experience, by heart. In the days that followed, clips of the debate went viral. Not the flashy arguments, not the sound. Just that one moment, those 9 seconds of piercing sincerity. Even some of Newsom's staunchest supporters admitted he got caught in his own performance. But this story isn't just about one man's regret. It's about the cost of underestimating authenticity, of forgetting that leadership isn't about winning arguments, it's about understanding people. John Kennedy didn't outtalk Gavin Newsom. He didn't outshout him. He outfelt him. And in a political world, often stripped of emotion and empathy, that's what made all the difference. So, if there's one message to take away from this clash of titans, it's this. Real leaders don't just speak, they listen. They live what they preach. And when the spotlight burns brightest, the truth doesn't need a script. Just 9 seconds of courage.